Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, Mightier Than the Sword. This first video is going to be talking about building a rich vocabulary. And I want to start with a little scenario that I think we're all familiar with. Someone uses an inappropriate or profane word or expression, and this person is corrected by a parent or a teacher. And the offender says, it's just words, don't get all upset, it's just words. Well, I would like to counter that, because I don't think there's any such thing as just words. Words are powerful. For example, a man and a woman standing in front of a preacher, friends and family are gathered, and we know a marriage is going on. The words that the preacher speaks and the words that the bride and groom speak have meaning, and they're binding. And then you have a marriage certificate, and those words are binding. It's a legal document. So words are important. Let's say one day you're speeding down the freeway, going a little too fast, friendly policeman stops you, and what does he do? He writes you out a ticket using words. You better respect those words, pay your fine, or go to court, or there could be some unhappy consequences. Our Constitution is just words. Our laws that govern us are just words. So you get my meaning. Words are power. Words create meaning and order in our life. And if you have a rich vocabulary, you will have more control over your ideas, over your career, and over your goals that you want to accomplish. Now, building a rich vocabulary is the first building block of writing and speaking. And I know this is going to be kind of a review for most of you, but I would hope that you would be inspired to apply these very simple and straightforward principles in building your vocabulary. First of all, be aware of words. Have a consciousness of what words you are using and what words other people are using. And if you don't understand a word or a group of words, make note of it. We've got our wonderful little cell phones. We can make notes very quickly, and then figure out what those words mean. It's very, very important that you do that. It's important that we listen carefully. Again, if a professor or a teacher is using a word that you're not aware of the meaning, it's really not appropriate to interrupt the lecture, raise your hand and say, what does that word mean? It's better to write the word down best you can and look it up later, or ask the teacher after class for clarification. Also, careful reading builds your vocabulary. Don't gloss over words you don't know. You're missing an opportunity to build your vocabulary. Most people have a working vocabulary of about 20,000 words, but we only use about 500 of those on a day-to-day basis. Now, university-educated individuals, they have 40,000 words in their word bank. So you see, they have a little bit more power than someone who only has 20,000. Read everything to discover new words. Be hungry. Between the ages of 16 and 30, you're going to be learning a lot of new words that have to do with your career and your vocation. So read news stories, magazines, textbooks, blogs, particularly trade journals. And when you come across a word that you don't know, you're going to remember to look it up. Now, observe how words are used to figure out the meaning of a word. And then use a dictionary to prove or disprove what you think the word might mean. For example, suppose you come across the word indigent while reading your sociology textbook. The indigent population was typically undereducated, malnourished, and lacking in safe housing. And you might think, indigent, that's where it's placed, it's an adjective, it's modifying population. I wonder what that could be. Could it be the beautiful population, or the intelligent population? Or the large population? Well, let's see. So take a few guesses, and it's okay to guess wrong and wild and crazy. Just make a few guesses. Get your brain thinking. And then the second thing you need to do is look up the word for an accurate definition. So if I had a dictionary here, I would tell you that it means hardship. It means lack of creature comforts. It's a very extreme level of poverty. Now the next thing I would do is I would write that down on a card. I would write the word down, the definition, and I would use it in a sentence or two. Make it yours. The more you use these unfamiliar words, the more they become part of your vocabulary. Now, make a commitment. Write all your new words and their definitions on note cards. Make that commitment. That commitment will make all the difference in your ability to build that rich word bank and then have the ability to call upon that word bank. I also recommend electronic note cards. I would kind of mix it up and do both. And review those vocabulary words 5 to 10 minutes a day. Now let's say you spend an hour or two a day playing games. Why not just play games for an hour and then use that other hour spread over the course of your day reviewing your vocabulary words? That would be a very painless way to enrich your word bank. And I think you will amaze yourself on how well you speak and how well you write. A well-developed vocabulary facilitates understanding and learning, so it's very important to learn the vocabulary words in each of your high school and college courses. When you're sitting in a lecture and there's maybe 10, 15, 20 words that you don't understand, you are missing critical components of that lecture. And how to retain your new vocabulary words. Okay, we got them on the note cards, we've got them on hard copy, we've got them on our electronic note card program. Review those note cards every night before falling to sleep. Your brain is very receptive to learning new information just before you fall asleep, and then you're in that sleep state and your brain is processing all those vocabulary words. Also review your note cards while you're waiting in line, while you're waiting for a friend at a restaurant. Anytime there's waiting, flip out those little electronic note cards and give them a look. Then you've got this little word bank and you want to keep it active. You don't want an inactive word bank. You want it active. You want an active account. So use those new vocabulary words in your written work. Use your new vocabulary words when you're thinking about a psychology principle or a principle in economics or political science. Use the new vocabulary words. That's going to expand your intellect and also stamp the word and the concept firmly in your brain. Building and retaining a new vocabulary. When you speak, use those new vocabulary words. And that's why it's good to have a little study group. Because let's say you're in a nursing course and you want to use those words that you're studying because you've got to remember them. A little study group of 2 or 3 people, you can talk to each other and use those words and no one's going to think you're weird because you're all trying to master that vocabulary bank. So if you're not using them, they're going to die. You will have an inactive account. So we want an active vocabulary account. Use your new vocabulary words when you text. Now, forewarn your family and your friends. So, when I text you, I'm going to be using some new vocabulary words. And if you will let me do that, that will really help me enhance my vocabulary bank, and it will really help me in my academics. And of course, who's not going to support that? A well-developed vocabulary enhances your career. Learn the jargon of your profession, and you will shine in interviews. A well-developed vocabulary will help you communicate confidently in the workplace. You're going to be attending meetings and maybe even a symposium where you will be presenting ideas. And if you have a well-developed vocabulary, you will be able to precisely and concisely present your ideas with confidence. Successful people have rich vocabularies. One of my favorite authors, Charles Dickens, he wrote The Christmas Carol, Great Expectations, David Copperfield. Those are just a few among many. Barbara Jordan, a wonderful politician who was one of the most beautiful speakers that ever graced Congress. And then Winston Churchill, his speeches inspired the English people to not surrender to Germany, and he saved Western Europe from the dictatorship of Nazi Germany. So, with this, I've given you a few challenges: that we be aware of words, that we make note of words we don't know, that we create a system of note cards, that we review those note cards, that we use our words when we speak, when we write, when we text, when we think, and then we have a very active, a very rich word bank. Because remember, words are power. And I will see you at our next video when we talk about sentences.